and thank you for joining me on the show today. This is the Now Talks, a collection of inspiring personal stories and leadership lessons from some of the world's most iconic leaders. It is the weekly podcast for women in leadership, brought to you by Nations of Women. My name is Dr. Tina Allton, and I'm your host for today and the coming weeks. Hello and welcome again to the Now podcast. It's been a while, but it's been a very good while. Now, I don't know where you are right now or where you're listening to us today from, but the weather is changing, the leaves on the trees are changing, autumn is truly upon us, and the colors in the nature is just breathtaking. And that really had me pondering about how very much our life is really like nature. We go through seasons, and sometimes depending on what season we're in, it really can flow into everything that we do and almost really impact who we really even are in that season. Now, there was this video I watched on LinkedIn. It was a 34-second video I watched on LinkedIn. It was posted by a guy called Rav Mishra. I think I've actually shared it on my podcast, or not my podcast, on my LinkedIn. So you can definitely go and have a look at it. But that really got me. It just got me, it's like, okay, this is very much in today's society. This is very much, a subject that would resonate with everybody else. And in this short video, it was just showing a group of people on a bus, public transport, I imagine. I don't think they were, of the same group and traveling to the same, place or anything of that sort, like an event or something, but they were all on a public transport. There were children, young boys, adults, older people, women, men. And there was this gentleman who had headphones on and was just sitting down in his seat. And there was somebody standing in front of him. The lady standing in front of him was pregnant and, finding herself was really hard. And so everybody in the bus is really irate and kind of like just judging this gentleman for sitting down still on the chair, giving up his seat for this woman. And there's a little boy, maybe 3-4 years old. And you know how we teach children to be kind and give up your seats for the elderly and all of those things. So even the young boy, the video itself doesn't have any words or anything, but it's so powerful how it's, how it all is presented. You can tell the young boy is, drawing his mom's attention. It's like, Mom, that man is not being kind, right? There's people at the back shouting the shoulders thinking, yeah, probably thinking what a jerk he is and why is he still sitting down. And there's an older chap who is like, just really agitated, annoyed, not very happy at all. Eventually, he cannot control himself, and he goes tapping the shoulder of the guy, and it's like, the gesture is like, what's wrong with you? Can't you see this woman is pregnant? You need to give up your seat. And, how did your mother bring you up? I'm adding all of those pieces to it. I'm really kind of like really exaggerating here, but you know what I mean? It's like, come along with me. It's like, do you not have any manners? You're not a gentleman. And what's wrong with, young people these days? What's wrong with you? Why can't you see what is right to do? And this whole self-righteousness that I'm right, you're wrong. So the man takes off his headphones and, looks at the elder chap, and it's like, pointing to the woman. It's like, give up your seat. Come on, dude. So he gets up, picks his crutches, and stands out of his seat. And when he stands up, what happens next was quite, he stands up and he actually has one whole leg amputated. So he's not amputated at knee length, amputated right up at hip length. So his whole lower limb, right from his hip all the way. The whole leg was completely amputated. He only had one leg. And then everybody's head is down, and it's like, what have we just done? And so, ladies, with that, I want to talk to us today on our Now Woman podcast about how we often judge, how we have a tendency to judge quickly before we even have the opportunity to know the full picture, the bigger picture. It's a very natural human instinct to make snap judgments. Why is that person doing that when perhaps, I wouldn't do it that way, or I know how to do that better, or I'm better than them, or whatever, you may be thinking. But yes, it's a very natural human behavior that we have the instinct to just make snap judgments. And the ripple effect of that is that when we make these judgments, it really has a broader impact when you make a premature judgment either on somebody, on a situation, what they're doing, or what you think they're not doing that they should be doing, right? And for example, we may be making those judgments coming from most of the time our own internal perspectives, our own internal compass. Sometimes it's coming from our own woundedness or our own past experiences, our pain, whatever it is. But we cannot live life that way. We cannot make judgment without fully understanding either the full context, the full picture, the full whatever it is that's, required of us. And most of the time, we must also recognize that you might be thinking, well, I wouldn't do it that way if I were you, or why are you doing it that way? Or because I've been, I'm 450 years old, so I know how this is. But the truth is, you don't have that person's vision. You're not called to do what that person is doing. And yet, somehow, intrinsically, we always feel the need to be the judge. We always feel the need to bring others down. We always feel the need to, disempower others, to judge others, to inflict our own perception or perspective of what we think is right, what we think is true, what we think is okay for the time, for the season, forgetting that we each have a whole different vision. We each have a whole different, we're each on our own individual journey. And so until we see the full picture or have the full context, or we're fully healed or stepping out of our own perspective, perceptions, preconceived ideas, misconceptions, what do you call it, our own prejudgments, whatever you want to look at that, it's really, really important that we actually look at the full context and step back and recognize I am not that person. I don't know. I may not know in this video, I may not know why this person is sitting down. And even if we're going to ask them to stand up or whatever it is, we can do so not from a place of judgment, but from a place of, hey, and I think that has so much power in empowering one another, but also allowing us to live from that place of wholeness, right? And so I want to look at practical ways that we can help ourselves. We can stop ourselves from judging or preconceived ideas or making really hasty decisions, hasty conclusions, hasty judgments, right? Before we know the full picture. So Here's an exercise that would practically help you if you are prone to making quick judgments before you know the full context. Then I want you to literally stop whatever it is you're doing right now. If you're driving and listening to this, I want you to pull over. If you're walking, I want you to stand for a moment. The idea is I want you to halt that automatic reaction to what is happening. Even as you're listening to this podcast, I want you to stop. I want you to stop for a moment. Now I want you to take a breath. Take a deep breath in, hold it for a few seconds, and exhale this out. This will help you to calm yourself, your nervous system, and it creates a room for a pause for reflection. Now I want you to observe what is happening inside of you. What thoughts are going through your mind? Are you thinking, what on earth are you talking about, Tina? I don't judge. I don't like judging people because I don't like to be judged. Is that what is going on in your mind? Or are you thinking, well, I could do better? What is the emotions that is going through your mind right now? What thoughts are going through your mind right now? What emotions are you feeling? What are the physical sensations that you can actually notice? Yes, pause for a moment. Now I want you to become aware of your own internal state. Internal state of your thoughts going through your mind, the emotions that you're feeling right now. What physical sensations are you noticing, experiencing? What is your internal state? Now you can proceed. I want you to proceed with awareness, with intention. Now that you've had the opportunity to pause to consider your own internal state and the situation at hand, you can now make a more informed decision or judgment. And anytime, this is an exercise you can do anytime. It takes less than 1 minute. It could be in a boardroom. You could be in a deal room. You could be with a supplier or a partner, your children, whatever it is. It can make such a significant difference in the quality of your decisions, because we make decisions based on judgments, right? Our judgment inform our decisions that we make. And if you want to make quality decisions, because quality decisions create a quality life, the quality of your decisions dictate and influences the quality of your own life. So now you have the opportunity to stop, S-T-O-P. So literally stop everything, take a breath, observe your internal state, your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations, and you proceed with awareness. This helps you in so many various ways and situations, whether you're scrolling through social media, whether you're in a heated discussion, or whether you're indeed making a business decision or a leadership decision for that matter. This is a very powerful tool to help you catch your thoughts, catch your decisions, catch your judgments. So you've done the pause. That's one very practical way of pausing before you judge, right? Now you can seek multiple perspectives. Get to know the other side of the story. Maybe you haven't even spoken to the person before. You don't really know what their vision is. Get to know the perspective. Why is the person doing what they're doing? And the other perspective is, that you're not that person. We all have a unique blueprint, a unique thumbprint. My thumbprint is on your thumbprint, and therefore I can't be you. I cannot do you. We might be doing similar things, but I cannot do what you're called to do, and you cannot do what I'm called to do. So get multiple perspectives. Question your own self. Could be your biases, your judgments, your insecurities. Most of the time, it's, our own insecurities that often fuels our judgment. So identify what biases do you have, what insecurities do you have, and challenge them. Challenge yourself. Be honest with yourself. Where is this insecurity coming from? Why am I being so critical of this person? Why do I feel a need to speak bad about that person or poorly about that person? Why do I feel the need to do so? Why do I? Why do I? Why do I? Why do I? Why? Question that, challenge that. And social media can sometimes be an unkind place. So be mindful of what you're consuming on social media, what you're thinking, what you're taking in, what you're reading, what you're judging on, right? What you're perceiving. It's not always the greatest place to, to seek a perspective and to make quality decisions and judgments, right? So limit your social media consumption. And another practical tip is practice empathy, right? Practice empathy. Be empathetic towards the other person, towards the situation, towards the issue. How would you want people to think or judge or look at you if it was you? Put yourself in the shoe of the other person. Would you find that fair? Would it be kind? So if your thoughts, your perceptions, whatever you open your mouth to say, if it's not kind, then don't say it. There really there's no joy and there's no blessing in cutting someone's heel so you feel good about yourself. In the end, you only rot and fester even more inside. And it only makes your insecurities profound. So practice empathy, right? And the key takeouts that I want you to take away from today's episode, and you can, go on my LinkedIn and find the video there as well. I've shared it, and hopefully that will speak to you as well. Number one is awareness is a great, great friend to have. Be aware of your own tendencies. Do you tend to speak too quickly before you've had everything? Do you tend to judge before you've seen everything? Do you have insecurities you haven't dealt with that is, underlying perhaps the hastiness in making decisions? Two, context is always king. The importance of having the full context, the full story, a full understanding. Challenge your own views, challenge your own perspectives, your own thought system, your own belief systems, your own limitations, because they all can become underlying tones for the decisions we make and the choices that we make in our lives. Be a responsible digital citizen, right? Be mindful what you share online, how you comment, how you, just be mindful of social media. Empathy builds bridges. So being empathetic as an individual, as a leader, be empathetic. And there's so much power in apology. It's okay to admit sometimes that you've judged too quickly. We all do it. We're all human beings. As a psychologist, every human being has a tendency to do so. You just can't escape it, but you can be better at it. You can be mature, right? You may not be able to escape it, but you can be mature. And that really is all that matters, is that you're a mature adult, you're a mature leader, you're a mature individual, right? So apologize if you get it wrong and celebrate progress. Celebrate both your own progress and other people's progress. Don't withhold celebrating somebody else's progress because you're judging how they got there, right? It doesn't matter. It's actually none of your business, if I can be so blunt. So celebrate your own progress and learn to celebrate other people too. And when we, as an individual, model that, we're able to model that for a whole community because there's other people watching. And so when we lead well, as leaders, where we make quality decisions, people, it impacts other people. And what does that ultimately lead to? It impacts the society and the community in which we're part of. So I hope these have been good for you. And I want to hear from you, your own story. Was there a time that you were very quick to judge, right? And what happened when you found out that, oops, I was too quick there? Did you apologize? What happened? How did you navigate that? I would love to hear your story. Or maybe it's the other side of the coin. Other people were very quick to judge you. How did that make you feel? How did you navigate that? How did you rise above that? I don't know, but I would absolutely love to hear from you, your own experiences. So until next time, remember, when you are faced with a situation or in the potential to be very snappy or quick in your judgment, remember to stop and literally stop, take a breath, observe what's going on internally, and then progress with awareness and perspective and the full picture. So I hope this has been great to you, and I look forward to hearing your own stories. Take care and see you next week. And that's all for this week. You've been listening to Dr. Tina Allton with the Now Talks, the weekly podcast for women in leadership, brought to you by Nations of Women. All that remains is for me to say have a fantastic week, stay safe, and reach out if you need any help now at nationsofwomen.com. Until next time, enjoy the pursuit of your potential, and remember, now is your time.